Although we are now seeing that you can get over 1000 horsepower on B58 and also some very reliable performance on B48, BMW still disappoints us, and I want to show you something that came across my table, and I really want to give you an idea and something that you need to expect when you are buying a newer BMW, which come equipped with B48 and B58. B48, B46, they are the same, and you have B58 and S58, but I am not going to talk about S58. I have yet to get a NES chassis, so I am not going to talk about that. But what I would like to point is your B48, B46 and B58, the things which are common, which are shared between the two engines, and they are prone to fail very, very drastically. I recently got a used engine, and as I was going through just to make sure that when I use this engine, it comes out with no issues. But I was surprised to encounter things that I didn't expect. But before I show you what are those components which are prone to fail, there is this particular item I want to show you. All right, so you can see what I am holding here. This is the oil pan, and when we look at inside this oil pan, you will notice that there are some little flakes, not really like metal flakes, but more of like a sand. Where did it come from? I was really surprised to see this kind of sand, because I thought maybe someone was blowing sand inside and stuff like that. But it turns out this sand came from the oil pump. And that's the component I want to talk about, which is the oil pump. All right, this is the first item that I am going to point out, which is the oil pump. And the oil pump on this engine is prone to fail drastically. Specifically, if you have the Gen 1, it's made out of plastic, and honestly, I don't know why BMW choose to use plastic on the oil pump. And you can see these are the parts which are broken into pieces, and this is where I saw things inside the oil pan which looked like a sand, but not the sand, is the composite material that came out of the oil pan. Very tiny pieces which I saw on the oil pan, and there are quite a few of them. So the entire part just shattered and broke into pieces, and that's what I was seeing on the oil pan. I was like, oh boy, this is really bad. And as you can see inside, you can really see there are still quite a few left on here. So when I was opening and when I was removing this oil pump, I was very careful to not let this drop into the cylinders and where the pistons are and where the connecting rods are. So this is one of the components that you have to be paying attention on your B48, B58 engine, because they are made in plastic. And I am going to open on this side also, because there is also another plastic component at the back of this oil pump. So let's go ahead and open that up, and I will show you. This is what I was looking for. And here you can see that we are inside the oil pan, and this part is also made out of a composite material. This can also fail, and when it fails, you'll get the same results as you saw with the composite residue that were on the oil pan. So as you can see that this black part here is made out of a composite material, so it's not aluminum or whatever. So I do not understand why they opted on using plastic material if you can just continue using the aluminum. Personally, I really don't understand. If you notice, you're constantly getting low oil pressure could be that your oil pump, one of these has broken, and you're not getting enough oil pressure on your system. So it's either this one is broken or the other part, this one, which goes in here, in between here. It sits in between here, and that's what creates the pressure and send it into different oil chambers and whatnot. All right, if you didn't see this coming, then I am sorry. You have a lot to learn. Okay, this is the oil filter housing that you are looking at. This is the oil filter housing, and it's also prone to fail a lot. It's made out of plastic, and as you know, it's made out of plastic. And man, this is a great engine. The B series from BMW, B48, B46, B58. These are great engines, but we're still noticing the use of all these plastic components, and we just have to make sure that when we own these kind of applications, you do want to pay attention of this to fail. And the reason is that given that this bolts in directly into the ceiling, because so how does this one fails? This one bolts directly into the engine block, into the main block, right? So given that when the main block heats up and it meets this plastic, which is also made out of a composite material, it melts on this side over here. And when this melts, the coolant chamber will now mix with the oil, and when that happens, you know what had happened with me on my N20 coolant going into the oil chambers and creating all kind of issues with the engine. And this what will happen if this one fails, because of the heat that coming from the block. It will melt this side over here where you have this gasket. These gaskets will melt, and as that happen, it will then cause it will then create some issues. If you really want to know more in depth about this one, I will highly encourage you to go check out the FCP Euro video. They've explained this really well about the composition of this oil filter housing, how it works, and all the other things that you want to know. But on a higher level, I think now you understand the common point failure of this particular oil filter housing. All right, here is another item that will fail on your B series, and it's actually called the heat management module. And boy, this is very expensive, but unfortunately it fails. So it's no longer the same as your regular thermostat. This one is really a lot, because it cools the head and the main block separately. So it's either will know, okay, it needs to send more cooling into the head, or it needs to send more cooling into the main block. That's what it does. So it's completely different than your regular thermostat, where it opens and closes and sends it to your radiator and stuff like that. So this fell a lot, and you also can only buy it as a whole set. This one failed on the engine that I am working on, because as you can see, it is broken right out here. It's broken. This piece is broken, and this connector is also broken. That's why I won't be able to reuse it anymore. But I wanted to show you how these components fail. These are the three main components that will fail on your B58 and B48 engine. So you do want to pay attention a lot. How does this one fail? It's because it's made out of plastic, and because it's made out of plastic, a lot of components are here inside will fail and will just deteriorate. And when that happen, it will then just stop working, and you get the check engine light, and there we go, you run into some very critical issues on your engine. All right, before I close this off, I would like to mention something that I find it very interesting. That is the intake manifold, and this intake manifold has a built-in cooling chamber on it. So the heat exchanger is built in inside this intake manifold. I didn't know, to be honest. I was surprised to learn about that. I mean, I never really pay a lot of attention on the B series up until I got this engine. So this one has the heat exchanger inside, which means we don't have the intercooler outside outside in front of the engine. It's built in inside, and there is coolant that flows inside of this heat exchanger. And unfortunately, when this one fails, you have to buy a new one. So this is something you need to keep in mind as well. And if you start having a lot of coolant failing inside or coolant dripping inside of this intake manifold, you have to buy this entire compartment. I hope you learned one thing or two when it comes to the interesting fact about the B48, B46, B58 engine. Those are the main things that I learned, and I also just wanted to share because as I was going through depicting this engine, I noticed that, oh, okay, these are the things which were mentioned to me that are failing, and I just have to go ahead and share with you exactly when they fail, how they look like specifically, because some other people didn't really tell you how they fail, and for me, I have them failed, and hope you learn and you'll get educated about these new engines. These engines are very good. A lot of people are opting this, putting them into different chassis, and I think it's a great opportunity to explore different avenues and how you want to tackle your build. Until then, see you on the next one.